Hello everyone, it's Omae and welcome back to the brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about this new ELBAPH Luffy. So finally we're getting ELBAPH. They're actually doing this right as summer is about to begin. I didn't expect them to jump straight into it because they did state that ELBAPH would start in summer, but I didn't think they'll jump on the bandwagon as soon as summer started, right? Now, there's a lot of things that you need to be cautious of because this is, for one, not a Super Sugo nor an anniversary exclusive batch. This is just the regular end of month legend batch with this new legend Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. So already it's a skip. We know we're gonna have Loki Super Sugo sometime around the July-August mark for the Summer Sugo Fest, which will be one of the biggest Sugo Fests of the year. I'd say like even the second best after the main the main worldwide anniversary that we just had. That Sugo Fest is gonna be massive. You want to have gems for that. So I recommend skipping, but also just because it seems like we're getting this new Luffy for free. Like, I don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but if you look on the Twitter post here where they announced this, by the way, I will show you the animations in a moment. It says here, log in to get Sugo Rare Luffy. And it does make sense that they're giving him out for free because he does have massive upgrades with level limit break. So they want you to still pull for him to get his copies, his duplicates. Because remember, end of month legends on their debut banner, they come with 3 dupes fed in. So pulling one Luffy on the new banner is like pulling 4 of him essentially. So you get the free copy, you get 2 copies of him on his debut banner, and then you just give him 1 poster, and then he's already level 150. So that's what they want you to do, because he does get very massive upgrades for his level limit break that make quite a big difference in combat, right? So either way, the fact that they're giving him out for free is immense. This will be the boosted characters for the Pirate King Adventures in June, right? So very, very good stuff. It means that having this Luffy for free, you're gonna have 3 extra drops guaranteed in the upcoming PKA. So everyone should be farming this new PKA because everyone has 1 boosted character at the very least, and he will make you get at least 1 guaranteed Heim drop every time you play. So even if you're farming at level 40, you will still get an extra Heim drop every single time. So this is pretty huge. Also, in Assault Rumble, this character will be boosted, so everyone will have this. We are going to talk about his Rumble stuff as well. We're going to talk everything about this Luffy in this video. In another video, I will talk about the Zoro and Sanji legends who are not given out for free. But at least as of yet, we don't know if they will be given out for free. But this Luffy, it seems like it. All of these legends are int striker focused, which I really enjoy actually, because we haven't gotten like really good striker legends for such a long time. We're finally seeing it now with the dual alders being very much striker centric, and now with this batch also being striker centric. Finally, strikers are having a comeback, right? So in striker, fighter Luffy, so he doesn't have a secondary class. That does hurt him quite a bit. Immediately, it's just going to be way harder to put him on a lot of teams because he doesn't have access to either Driven, Cerebral, Free Spirit, or Powerhouse. None of those secondary classes. And it seems like he's an attack style 55 cost unit, of course, in Rumble, with a speed of 170 and a defense of only 125. So pretty mediocre stats there. Of course, I love the artwork. We don't know the exact ink effect. Let me just quickly show you guys the video, right? Let's bring this up. Pretty dope, right? Really cool animations there. 3 different legends, and it seems like we're going to get rare recruits for the other straw hats as well. Definitely for Usopp and Nami, and maybe even Chopper, since they were the main focus for those episodes. But yeah, this is starting 29th of May 1900 PST, so in about 2 days exactly. I would say like 1 day and 21 hours this will be out in the game, which is really, really cool. Make sure to repost and like this tweet. I'll do that myself, because we can get 30 Rainbow Tavern medals once we do this, we reach this goal, right? Very, very important. But now let's talk about Luffy himself. So he is a super class unit with super tandem, pinch healing, and slot bind resistance. As a captain, he's going to... Okay, let's first talk about his captain ability. Int and striker units get 5x attack, 1.2x HP, and non-int strikers get 4x attack. So I like that he's still boosting non-int strikers at least a decent amount, even if it's only 4x. At base, this is quite a low multiplier, like very low for 2026, but it does improve later on. Int recovery as well and tandem have matching slot effects. Very few captains in the game actually make recovery count as matching, nor do ships, so this is a very good beneficial orb enable. And then based on tags, ELBAPH Arc, Straw Hat Pirates, and Giant tag characters get 2 turns of cooldown. Now, this is before the level limit break upgrade. You get an upgraded captain at level limit break 4. This is the first time we're seeing a captain ability upgrade at level limit break 4. This is where you need 6 dupes to get this. So, quite difficult. But yeah, it's so strange because we always had captain ability upgrades at level number break 3 only. So yeah, that's quite annoying, but regardless, you'll see how important that is, mainly because of the cooldown issue here. Without level limit break, only these characters are getting 2 turns of cooldown. Everyone else, no cooldown, and regardless of their tags, no one's getting versus effect gauge charge or switch effect gauge charge. So very difficult to work here with cooldowns, which is super, super annoying. And then if you have 4 more of those tags aforementioned, then boost those tags by 1.2x attack. So it brings this up to a 6x attack multiplier flat, which is pretty good. But remember, there's not a lot of ELBAPH Arc characters yet. Yes, there's a lot of Straw Hat Pirates, not a lot of good Giants. So very few characters are actually getting access to this max multiplier. Most people are getting only 5x and no cooldown, which is a massive, massive issue. But does he have utility in the captain? Unfortunately not. But this is a very interesting effect that is extremely powerful. When 2 or more ELBAPH Arc characters on the crew, so 1 besides himself, which is very easy, and a Straw Hat Pirate, Bonnie, Dory, Broggy, Oimo, Kashi, or Hyrule uses their special as a crewmate, so they can't be a friend unit. You can't run this Luffy as your captain, a Zoro as your friend unit, and then this effect will not proc. It has to be a sailor, a crewmate, right? And then when they use their special, everyone gets 2 turns of cooldown, and it can be used 4 times in the quest. So that definitely makes up for the cooldown issue. Of course, we still don't have our charges for versus effect, switch effect, but this is great. It gives you so much cooldown, up to 8 turns quite easily, and also you can get around special rewind like this, which is really, really cool. So overall, very powerful utility, very versatile in how you can use it. You can use it to just give yourself a lot of cooldown, or to just get around special rewind. So I think this is great. Of course, if you are using this, one of these units that you are activating has to have special rewind negation themselves, so keep that in mind. So that's not very easy to use, but it can be very, very powerful regardless. The main change when you get the level limit break upgrade is that the multipliers increase to 5.25x base, and then up to I think 6.5x with the tags. So if a character is both in striker and one of these tags, and you also have to have 4 more of these units to actually get that extra multiplier. But now the main change is that everyone gets 2 turns of cooldown and then 2 charges for your versus and switch effect gauges. So that's massive. It means these tags are getting 4 turns of cooldown as well as the 2 charges for your gauges, right? Really, really good. And then you also get access to this ability still. It doesn't change. The condition isn't easier or anything. It's literally the exact same ability, same amount of cooldown, same amount of activation times. The main change, as I said, is multipliers as well as the cooldowns and gauge charges. So it is definitely worth upgrading that. But I'd say the special is actually a bigger upgrade, because the buffs that it provides becomes multiple stages when you level limit break 5 him. So you need all 9 dupes for this to get maxed, which is really annoying. But let's first talk about the pre-level limit break special. So damage nullification reduced by 2 turns, amazing. Unfortunately, not 3 turns. I mean, most legends that reduce it nowadays are 3 turns, but it's still really good. 7 turns of paralysis reduction, great. And then a chain multiplier growth rate buff for int and striker units, and it'll give you a 0.7 chain per perfect instead of 0.3 that it usually provides. So I mean, this is quite stock standard. Most chain growth rate buffs nowadays are 0.7 for perfects, and it is only 1 turn. But as you'll see, when you have the duplicates, it becomes a 3-turn chain growth rate buff, which is so much better, especially since the rest of his special does rely on you bursting over multiple stages, right? So if you land 4 perfects in this turn, the next turn you will get a tap timing based attack boost. This is an incredibly powerful buff that very few units in the game provide. The only other character that's prominent right now that has it is the new Blackbeard, and it essentially means that if you hit a perfect, you get an extra 2x attack boost. So hit 4 perfects in the turn you activate the special, and then in the following turn you will get this this tap timing based attack boost, right? Very, very powerful. And then if you have 5 or more of those tags, that will also mention in the captain ability. So that's quite difficult. That is really difficult requirement. We need way more LBAF arc characters for this to be good, and giants, of course. Then reduces damage taken by 80% for a turn, which is super, super good. That will allow you to get massive damage from damage reduction based on your ally attack boost. I mean, a massive attack boost based on your allies damage reduction. That is a very relevant buff nowadays, and the fact that you have this is really good for that damage, but also getting around death hits from the enemy is really, really powerful, right? And then a int and striker characters color affinity of 3x for 5 turns, so this can last over 3 stages. So really, really good. I don't need to say why that is amazing. Of course 3x is a bit low for modern day standards, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it does stay the same, but the main thing is that it lasts for 3 stages. That is really, really powerful. I really wish though that made this 3 turns instead, but made this like 3.5x, because the whole point of this unit is to burst over 2 stages, not 3 stages. Because when you level them or break him, this chain growth rate buff lasts for 3 turns, the color affinity lasts for multiple stages, and then also you first need to hit 3 perfects to get this tap timing based attack boost, right? So very much focused on bursting over multiple stages, but mainly over 2 stages, not 3. So I don't know why this is 5 turns. I really wish the multiplier was just a bit higher then. And then when you level Luma break him, he also gets this added effect to give the enemy striker resistance down, which is an extra 1.25x damage for your striker units. The enemy cannot be immune to this. It goes through all types of immunities. So very powerful, unblockable, 1.25x extra damage for your strikers. So I think that's the only change. This becomes 3 turns, and then you also get a striker resistance. The damage reduction is now 90% instead of 80%, but that's a very small change, not too important. And then you also only need to hit 3 perfects instead of 4 perfects to get the tap timing based attack boost, right? I'm not 100% sure if this is the requirement to get the attack boost, and it's not like a delayed effect activation, because I think it might be that this buff is actually active in the turn you use the special, and you need to hit 4 perfects, then you get the attack boost for the remaining 2 perfects that you hit. But I'm pretty sure it's a delayed effect activation, the way to word it here. You hit 4 perfects in the turn you activate the special, and then only in the following turn you get the buff. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, like 99% sure. But if I'm not, correct me in the comments. I'm open to being wrong, right? But overall, it does seem like quite a powerful special, with providing a lot of damage boosting effects, chain growth rate, tap timing based attack boost, and a color affinity over multiple stages. We have very powerful utility here in damage nullification, paralysis reduction, as well as getting around death hits with the damage reduction. Overall, just really good special even before the level limit break. So I think this is just a really solid character to get. But once again, he is an end of month legend, means you can get him from tickets once the ticket pool updates. So I really like recommend you be patient on this one, alright? But then what about his Rumble stuff as well as his Super Tandem? First of all, his crewmate ability, base attack boost, sure. When you have 5 or more Straw Hat Pirates or Giants, so you don't have ELBAPH included here, and when an enemy's threshold is activated, reduces it by 6 turns. Oh my goodness, he's broken actually. Yeah, you definitely want to use him as a sailor because, as I said, you really need this level limit break upgrade for the captain ability to be good. And when you're running as a sailor, you get access to this unbelievable sailor ability. We've seen how powerful this is with versus Zoro and versus Lucci. This can be a massive effect for your crew. This is like a whole special utility. I mean, this is the moment they made sailor abilities as important as specials to a certain extent. This is super important. It is quite a difficult requirement, but whenever the enemy just uses their threshold, reduces it by 6 turns. Remember, it can only be activated once per quest, so if the enemy has a threshold on stage 3 and on stage 5, it'll only reduce the threshold on stage 3, so whenever the enemy first uses it. But yeah, massive utility there, getting around threshold, as well as paralysis, damage nullification, as well as death hits. Just amazing unit as a sub. And then his Super Tandem, when you have 2 or more of Zoro or Sanji, or the rest of the Straw Hats, and then also the giant characters and Bonnie. So Giants, Bonnie, Straw Hats, but one of the units has to be Zoro or Sanji. So you need a Zoro, you need a Sanji, either one, and then another character listed here. So it's quite the easy requirement, I'd say, like very easy actually. And it will give you a 1.25x striker tandem attack boost. So of course, very low at level 1. He is given out for free from what it seems like, so it makes sense why it's so weak to start off with. But when you max it out, it's going to be a 2.75x tandem attack boost. So very impactful for your damage, and then makes I cannot speak. Makes type orbs count as beneficial for a turn. So that's pretty terrible. You're always gonna have matching orbs if you're gonna be bursting with Super Tandem. So this is a very useless effect, unfortunately, but it is Super Tandem nevertheless. It's quite easy to activate it, so it will be used regardless. Unfortunately, it's just not that quite powerful at all. And then the super class, it can be used when he's a crewmate, but you do need 3 or more of those characters, the Giants, Bonnie, or Straw Hats. And it does state that double characters count as 1, so you can't run Zoro and Sanji dual legend and it counts as 2, because this line is stated here, right? Okay, so striker units get super class, which is an extra 1.2x attack and HP. Changes his own orb into tandem, not through block, but this will allow you to perform the super tandem. Remember, when you are using super tandem, at least one of the units that are involved in the super tandem need to have a tandem orb. Or if you have another type of orb, you need the buff that states that you can perform Super Tandem with another type of orb. For instance, the Shirahoshi support unit states that you can perform Super Tandem with rainbow orbs. So yeah, keep that in mind. This is very important. And also, I forgot to mention, but it doesn't state whether or not you can activate this on stages before the final stage. So this could be really good if you can use this every single stage, like the Nika Bonnie and Luffy legend. But we'll see when the units are announced in game, right? It will also give an increase of 0.5 to existing color affinities, as well as allow them to be buffed up to twice. So very powerful. But yeah, quite the weak super class of all. Like, bro, what is this? Is that all he's doing? That's horrible. He's definitely a free-to-play unit. I think, like, bro, what is this? I mean, the special and the Sailor abilities are broken, don't get me wrong, but like, what is this super class? And the super totem is also pretty bad, which definitely leads me to believe that this is a free-to-play unit indeed. But either way, support ability is just stats for LUFFY arc units, okay? And then rumble ability. Now remember, he is a free-to-play unit, and he will be boosted in Assault Rumble, because he is an end of month legend. So it's really cool here that he does have extra stuff for Assault Rumble. When 4 more LUFFY arc units on the team, Straw Hat Pirates and Giant teammates attack up of level 7 for 20 seconds. And then when 6 or more Straw Hat Pirates and or Giants on the crew, himself attack up of level 7 for 5 seconds. So a total of 14 levels of attack up to himself. Of course, this is only for 5 seconds upon activation of his special, but level 14 attack up is essentially like level 14. It's 250 per level, so that's going to get him up to about 3,500 attack increase, which is pretty massive, right? Remember, that's going to make his special much stronger if he does do damage, which he does. What else? When 8 or more Straw Hat Pirates and or Giants on the crew, so everyone needs to be a Straw Hat or Giant, so this is extremely difficult. I mean, even all these are really hard right now. We will get more LUFFY characters. When Loki releases, he will be a Giant, so he'll definitely be good on this team. But yeah, this is the start of it all, right? So let me not judge too much. When you have all of your units being those tags, Straw Hat Pirates get 10% CT reduction, and one defense style Straw Hat teammate gets 100% chance of haste. A debuff style a defense style Straw Hat. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yep, versus Zoro from Zoro versus Nistro is a defense style unit. So if you run him alongside this guy, of course he's not an LUFFY, but he is a Giant. He is a Straw Hat Pirate unit, of course, not giant. So it will be a bit harder to get this requirement, but you only need 4 more LUFFY characters. Beyond that, you can still run like egghead units that are Straw Hats and that are Giants, right? So you can run versus Zoro there, and then he will get hasted. And remember that Zoro gets his cooldown charged as soon as the battle starts, so this Luffy will allow him to haste and activate his special quite easily. And then one enemy with high HP for 5x damage. Remember, he does attack up himself quite dramatically before he does this. And then enemies in large range, another 3.25x damage, so a total of 8.25x to one enemy, and then a lot of enemies besides that will also get this 3.25x, right? Very, very nice. It is not everyone, it is in a large AoE range. And then Assault Rumble gives himself a 20% CT reduction, so after using his special, he'll be in good stead to activate once again very soon. So he's a 30 CT unit, so 20% would be 6 seconds reduction, which is really, really good, right? I really hope that he does have access to self CT reduction at the start of the quest. Let's look at his rumble ability before we look at his super special, right? Striker, Fighter, Straw Hats get HP up of level 6. That's amazing. That's like 1,500 HP and 1,500 attack. And then also a massive defense up of level 3. Defense up, you might be thinking only level 3, but defense up is such a broken mechanic in Power Rumble. It reduces damage so much. Yes, we have a lot of units that do damage ignoring defense, but we also have a lot of units that allow you to evade damage ignoring defense. So defense up is still really relevant for sure. The level 3, don't sleep on that. When 4 more LUFFY arc characters on the team, Straw Hat Pirates get a level 3 special CT speed up. So this is about 2% per level. So that's like 6% CT reduction innately for your Straw Hats, which definitely will make a difference. But I mean, it's not doing enough here, I feel. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like this is not enough. When 6 or more Straw Hat Pirates and or Giants on the crew, Straw Hat Pirate teammates attack up of level 4 and defense up of level 3. So in total, level 6 defense up for your Straw Hat Pirates, as well as attack up of level 10, and also the special CT speed up buff, as well as HP up buff. I don't know, I feel like there's something missing. There's pretty good buffs here, but he's not debuffing the enemy in any way, shape, or form. Even if a unit isn't a debuff style unit, like most characters do provide some form of a debuff, even if it's just one line. Even if they're not a debuff style unit, they still usually have at least one thing to debuff the enemy in some way, shape, or form. Remember, these classifications that the units have, like this Luffy is actually an attack style unit, but he's providing a lot of buffs as well. Units can't just do one thing. They can't just be doing damage. They can't just be buffing. They can't just be debuffing. These classifications are based on what they do most, like what's their main thing that they're doing. But it doesn't mean they can't do other things as well. So I feel like he should have had something more in his passive, but his special is really good. I really like that he does have special abilities for Assault Rumble. But what about his super special? So remember, this should get buffed at level limit break 5 as well. So this is what happens when you activate his special, his super special with no level limit break 5, I'm pretty sure. So when remaining time is 50 seconds or less and you use his special, then ELBAPH arc units get, when you have 4 more ELBAPH arc, then those 2 tags get attack up of level 10 now for 25 seconds instead of 20 seconds. So that's a pretty big upgrade. I mean, it's not that crazy. It's only level 3 increase and for another 5 seconds. When you have 6 or more of those tags, self level 10 attack up. So now it's going to be level 20 to himself instead of 14 levels. Okay. When you meet the massive requirement of everyone being a Straw Hat or Giant, they now get 15% CT reduction instead of 10%. And one defense style gets haste still. Okay. And then 5x to 2 enemies instead of 1. And now instead of a large range, everyone gets 4x damage instead of 3.25x. And then in Assault Rumble gives himself 30% CT reduction instead of 20%. So that's pretty huge because remember, this is activating in the final 50 seconds. So you really need to get your special back quick so that you can activate your special in those last few seconds. So that's pretty cool. And that's at level 1 only. But when you do max out his level limit break and you get the upgrade, it can activate in the first 40 seconds. You don't need to be in the latter half of the battle. In the first 40 seconds instead of the first 50 seconds. And then it will give a level 15 attack up to those characters for 30 seconds now. A level 15 to himself, so that goes up to level 30 attack up, which is massive. That is a ridiculous amount of attack up, bro. And then those units get 20% CT now instead of 15%. And then once again, the haste for one enemy. I mean, one defense style Straw Hat ally. And then 3 enemies now for the 5.6x damage. And then in the remaining, the last 50 seconds of battle, all enemies get 5x damage. And now we have spread damage introduced. So you really want to keep this guy level limit break 5. And then he's going to give himself 50% CT instead of 30%. That is a massive jump. That is a ridiculous jump, bro. Targets all enemies for spread damage. Targets all enemies for 5x damage. Targets 3 enemies for 5.6x damage. After this massive level 30 attack up to himself, by the way. And then Zoro's going to get hasted. And he'll do a lot of damage as well. Finish off enemies. Give the shield to the team. This has a lot of potential, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Him with, like, future ELBAPH units is gonna go crazy. Especially if you're using versus Zoro. Let me know your thoughts. I will have a video going through the Zoro and the Sanji, so stay tuned for that. I just really wanted to focus on the Luffy since it seems like he's gonna be free. Very good character as a sailor. As a captain, not so much. You need that level limit break 4 for his captain to be really good. Not just in these multipliers, but also in the cooldown that he's providing. It's really important to have level limit break. His special really doesn't need it, but I do think it also really benefits from level limit break. The sailor ability is broken. The super class is really underwhelming, but it's very easy to activate, so I'll give it that. The super tandem ability, easy to activate, but very weak. Besides that, the rumble stuff seems amazing, but very hard to use right now. Quite unusable in the current day, but we will be getting a shit ton of LBAF units, in which case he will be incredible, I believe, especially in Assault Rumble, giving himself 50% CT reduction when he uses super special with level limit break 5 is just so good. But yeah, you really want to max this guy out, mainly for his massive rumble super special increase. I mean, it becomes so good, right? Adding spread damage as well, massive CT reduction, ridiculous amount of attack up. But that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, and I'm out.